Nice. And with that, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity Church in Albany.
Morning.
Coming to you live from beautiful downtown Albany, New York. The Unity Lounge. And we're going to sing a little bossa nova.
Good morning, Unity Church of Albany. Good Sunday morning. So I have an opening poem this morning. Oh, my name is Peggy Kaufman, by the way. I'm on the Board of Trustees. Glad to be here this morning. First time since we've been sheltered. And speaking of sheltering at home, I thought this would be an appropriate poem. It's something I've been striving to do a little more since I've been kind of isolated at home, and it's called Go In and In. Go in and in. Be the space between two cells, the vast, resounding silence in which spirit dwells. Be sugar dissolving on the tongue of life. Dive in and in, as deep as you can dive. Be infinite, ecstatic truth. Be love conceived and born in union. Be exactly what you seek, the beloved, singing yes, tasting yes, embracing yes, until there is only essence. The all of everything expressing through you as you. Go in and turn away from nothing that you find. Okay, so we can read our vision statement together, our mission statement first together. The mission of Unity Church in Albany is to awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service. And our vision statement. We celebrate oneness with spirit and with the divine nature of all. We have prayer chaplains, and we have many different ways to pray. So on the wall you will see we have prayer support by phone, by email, either here in Unity, or you can call Silent Unity at Unity Worldwide. So they have a phone number and also an online address. So many different avenues for prayer. And announcements. Let's see, what's happening at Unity? Today, important announcement. Today we have a town hall meeting at 12:30. The Zoom link and password are in the newsletter, which it's the same as the 12:30 fellowship. So if you've been following that, you can use the same link and you will get to our town hall meeting today. We are going to be talking today about our transition in the next few months. So please tune in and you'll find out more. Heart-to-heart sessions, we have every Tuesday at noon, informal chats with different Unity leaders, and you can find that in the newsletter, or you can email unityalbany@yahoo.com for the link. Thursday mornings at 9 o'clock, we have our prayer hour. Also on Zoom, we share the daily word, a brief meditation, and then have fellowship online. Again, find it in the newsletter or email unityalbany@yahoo.com for the link. We have our membership class. We are halfway through the class with Reverend Steve. Wednesdays, 2 more Wednesday evenings this week and the following week from 7 to 8:30. The Zoom link for that is also in the newsletter. And if by any chance you're not getting the newsletter, but you're watching this morning, please email unityalbany@yahoo, and you can get signed up, or look for the website, and you can sign up through the website. Thursdays in the afternoon from 1 to 2:30, in the next 2 weeks also, we have the class with Patricia Hunt Perry and Reverend Steve on the journey through grief, companioning the mourner. So if you're interested in tuning in, it's not too late. You can join anytime. Also find that link in the newsletter. And thank you for your continued support. We will have a financial report this afternoon as well, so you can find out how we're doing in that way if you tune in this afternoon to the town hall. Okay. Is that it? Okay. Now for our daily word. Let go, let God. I let go and trust the divine in me. When faced with a decision to make, do my thoughts turn immediately to divine guidance, or do I seek God's help only when all else fails? Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore wrote that God loves to be used, and the more you use him, the more easily you use him, and the more pleasant his help becomes. God lives in me and expresses through me. All of the attributes of God are as near as my next thought. I release my attachment to limited human reasoning. I center my mind and heart on the constant flow of divine love, wisdom, understanding, and strength. In the divine flow, I find answers to questions. New possibilities for good emerge. I move forward with confidence. From there, you will seek the Lord your God, and you will find him if you search after him with all your heart and soul. Deuteronomy 4:29. So again, together, let's say, I let go and trust the divine in me. Thank you.
If we let go and let God, each day becomes a witness to that truth, that divine presence. Our very soul becomes a witness. 1, 2, 3.
want to thank our music team. You guys are awesome. I know if this were live with everyone here in this place, there'd be some nice applause, and I will join them in thanking all of you. And also our audiovisual team. We have Tony with us today and Terry back there. Without you guys, this wouldn't be. So good morning, Unity Church in Albany. This is a sunny day. It's a May day, and wherever you are, you may be watching this on YouTube afterwards. It's not live. And if you're like me, it would be really a tough decision to do church when I really could be also outside and do a nature bath, do church that way. Wherever you are good, and we are glad that you are good and with us. So we move now into what's so important about Unity Church in Albany, that we believe in oneness. And you see on our screen the statement of oneness. And we'll say this together. If you're at home, either by yourself or with others, and also those of us that are here, we will affirm this together. We say it with some power and some belief that we are one. That is a fact of truth on this planet together. The power of Christ's love now releases me from any sense of separation from others. There is only one presence and one power in my life. God, universe, God is the good, omnipotent. That one is God. I will remember this someday. So now we prepare for meditation as we hear the beautiful song, Be Still, by Will, that we love and we bless. Be still.
And while we're about to do that, we probably should have added to the announcements that next week we have a guest speaker, and that's Ginger Hannah. So welcome Ginger here next week. And here's Will's song. 1, 2, 3. As we take a breath, we move into another deep awareness of the presence of Spirit, of the presence of love, as we still our minds and our busy thoughts and move inward into a place where we know where the Spirit of God, the peace of God resides. We hear these words, peace, be still. We walk in the Holy Spirit as we walk. We live in the Holy Spirit as we are awareness of our living, and even when we are not aware. We live in Spirit. We live in God in all there is.
for this moment in time, as we have made a decision to shift our perception away from what seems to be so real in this world that quite often is really but a call for separation from our core identity from love. We realize that we are who God created us to be. One of my favorite affirmations was a daily word written the day that I was born. I have faith in God as the one and only power in my life. And so we affirm this morning as we open to this time of deep, precious oneness. And we may say this silently. We may see it as we write it in cursive. I have faith in God as the one and only power in my life. And this knowing this truth, this spiritual truth, is forever deep within us, inside. For there is this place always within us, our Christ self, where there is only love, where there is a place for healing, a place for listening, a place for knowing. So we move into the silence now in a deep space of knowingness, a deep space of embracing what needs to be embraced. If it's not love, it is a call for love, of course the miracle says. It's possible that we know this. And so we know this very moment is part of our journey. It's a witness to our sacred purpose. Moving into the silence now. Into the silence. We know. I invite you now to shift your awareness back to the space that you are in and to a place of remembering the power of the Christ love. There's a reason why we take time to meditate, to be mindful, to go within. And there's moments like this when we realize that there is peace, there is only peace, there is only love. And we know and we remember as we are in this remembrance society called unity, that there is always oneness. There is a possibility that exists beyond what seems to be possible. And so as we remain centered right now, we have been setting the stage for a week of ours and a day of ours where there's unlimited possibilities because we have faith in God as the one and only power in our life. We don't believe in separation. We recognize it and we honor it and we move to a place of, instead of resisting what seems to be going on in our lives and on the planet, we make a decision to embrace and accept with radical acceptance, because we know and we claim our divinity and that of others. And so it is with great gratitude and joy that we say, thank you. Thank you, sweet Spirit. Peace, be still, has been accepted. Amen.
Be still, be still, be still, and know that we are one. We are one. We are one. Be still. And know that we are one. Be still, be still, be still, and know that I am God. I am God. I am God. Be still and know that I am God.
Thank you, thank you. That is so powerful. Could you put the last slide up of the lyrics, the last one of the lyrics, please, on the screen? I want to thank you, Will. I imagine you're watching today, Will Hanna, the composer of this beautiful song. And I think it was my first Sunday here. I'm not sure when it was, one Sunday ago. It seems like eons ago. Life has been happening, right? That I was here, and over the years, I've begun to realize that there is incredible power in a statement that we've heard this many, many times. And if you look at it in different sections, when you're ready to get some information and some guidance about what's going on, you can say the whole phrase of be still, be still, be still, and know that I am God. How about if you say, take it one part at a time, be still and know that I am. Now, there's some of us, for a long time when I came to Unity, there's no way that I would say that I am God. I mean, and still, for some of us, that may seem not only a little arrogant, it's just downright blasphemy for some people. Be still and know that I am. And then how about if we just say, be still and know? There's so many teachings that suggest that we always know what is ours to know. If we be still, if we quiet our mind, quiet our busyness, move into oneness, be still and know. And then what about if it's just be still? Oh, be still. Our parents don't necessarily say that when we were younger and when we raised hell. At least mine didn't. But that's really what it's about, right? To be still. And it's with our minds, our incessant thinking that creates all kinds of drama and real powerful experiences. So be still. And then, of course, the last one is be. Being. We know what that's like. So this morning, we're honoring the sacredness of transition. And so some of you, if you're new to this community and you haven't seen me before or read much about what I'm doing here, I'm what's called interim minister, or the word we use these days is transitional specialist, to support the Unity Church in Albany as it goes through a change in ministerial leadership. And so there's a lot of things to know and to pay attention to during this era. Well, I've been here since, I think March 24th was when I rolled into Albany. First time I've been in northern New York City. From Kansas City, Lee Summit, Unity Village, where I live. And I remembered very powerfully that there's a lot of activity that we had talked about, we meaning your board of trustees and myself, on Zoom, as I was interviewed and hired about, well, what does a transitional specialist do, or what does an interim minister do in situations like this? Well, in situations like this was totally unanticipated in terms of the drama and the depth of what's been called now COVID-19 or whatever. And so my first month or more here, really close to 2 months, has been really supporting the board and myself in embracing eventually what is and doing what we can do to make sure that we're connected with you, our Unity family, our Unity community. And the beauty of it is this ministry has been really healthy and thriving for many, many years, decades, I'd say. And you've already do live streaming, and so a lot of that was already in place. And so we were all working on, let's take this to a level where people can tune in, and then we can also use the technology of Zoom. And many of us still complain about Zoom. I do that sometimes and say some things that you wouldn't want to hear. Or maybe you would, but I won't tell you. But without the technology and so on, can you imagine going through this time without having the ability to connect with people? It's not the same, of course, as being in person. And so what's been going on with myself and the board is we've been giving new meaning to Chop Wood, Carry Water, to doing what we can to keep going here. And we're probably not too far away when there'll be some more live bodies in this beautiful sanctuary. And it'll help us that have time in wrestling with talking to, well, I trust that there's people out there, but it's just a little piece of equipment there. It's time that we dived in a little bit more. The board and I have decided this is the time where we go more and talk about what is the transition about and why are we doing this. And so the sacredness of it has to do with reflection in a couple of quotes you see on the screen. We therefore encourage one another to build up each other as indeed you are doing. Now, wouldn't you say that's true for you? And I'd say in many ways for the planet. Most of us are really encouraging one another. We're building each other up in spite of the pain and the drama and the unknown. We are individually and in Unity Church in Albany, I know I speak for everyone here, that's our intention, that we are doing that. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. That's Martin Luther. And we know that's true. As we become silent about, how about starting within? Most everyone here has had some level of incredible grief, loss, pain, anger, frustration, loss of hope, whatever word you want to put on that really aren't obvious expression or an awareness of love's presence in you and as you and through you. And so, if we become silent about things that are within us, and this is true for a lot of men that have difficulty in even knowing what a feeling or emotion is, let alone expressing it, and that's sometimes been me, and I'm doing much better than I ever have, and probably so are you, and for all of us. And so it's really important that we have a place where you can feel safe and you have a venue, a way of being heard and talking about what's going on with you. And so all of that is a sacredness, and it ties into what Unity teaches, in my belief. And it's one of the reasons that I really felt a need to become a minister, not a minister, but, well, yes, a minister too. But when I felt complete after being a senior minister in various churches for about 24 years, I also was aware I had already gotten involved in consulting with various Unity churches because I was on a team that did that. And I thought, well, this might be something that I can do. I felt pretty complete with being a senior minister. Been there, done that, some of it. And so there is a sacredness in this time. And I'm not claiming that I am the only one that might have this ability, but as we look at, the next slide is there must be a better way. So in terms of your life, how many times have you said this? If you're aware of A Course in Miracles, the way A Course in Miracles was finally invited into the planet was there were two individuals. There were psychologists at a hospital, and they were, what's the word to say? They were at fight with each other. They were quarreling. They were in pain. They were just going on and on about it. You ever had a relationship like that? And finally, one of them said to the other, well, there must be a better way to be in relationship. And she said, and I am determined to find it. So, we're not saying that you're in a place here at Unity Church in Albany where things are really full of drama and pain and conflict. There's probably there's probably some things like that, but it's not really heavy here. But so if there must be a better way, what is yours to do right now? You're being called, are you not? What is yours as an individual? And in terms of this time of change between what's going on here and what we remember from the past at Unity Church in Albany, we don't have a new minister yet. As you all know, or should know, that I'm here temporarily for 6 months, perhaps longer, and I am not and will not be a candidate for your permanent next minister. And some would say, thank God, and bless you. And that's true. But this is a very precious time. And so what we know is that if we believe, all of us will follow up and embrace what your board of trustees has said. Yes, we're going to take some time. Instead of rushing right into searching for a new minister, we're going to take some time and dive deeply into taking a look at, well, who are we right now? And I think this takes on a new meaning given the corona time. Because not only is this ministry never going to be the same that it ever was. That's true for all churches. It's true for humanity. And we don't really know necessarily where that's going. But we do know as we tap into what we know and what we teach and how we support one another and how we love each other, that we will be guided, and we are. And so that's why it's really important that we look at what is each individual's purpose here, and what is yours to do. And during this transition time, we'll have opportunities to involve everyone. That's what we do. So the next slide says, well, 2020 is now 5 months into the new year. It seems like a brand new year. It just seems like yesterday we went into 2020. My hell, how did this happen? And then it seems like forever ago that I was driving across country and seeing not many people on the road and coming here. And that seemed like just months ago. Well, it was months ago. So what is the energy and intention you bring to this sacred transition time? And that's a question then that every time we gather, we model the future we want. Peter Block says that. I love that quote. So as we gather together, let's say right this moment, it's on a beautiful Sunday, and wherever you are, whether it's live or whether you're watching this later, what is the energy and intention you bring to this sacred transition time? Now, it's not only for Unity Church in Albany, because one thing is true about it, if we are doing some incredible work about getting clear on who we are right now and how we're going to be supporting the planet, guess what? When we bring something sacred to this time, then it has it's like a healing wave rolling throughout the universe. It's not just for this ministry, but it begins with every one of us. Let there be sacred time on this planet. Let it begin with somebody else. What is the energy and intention you bring to this sacred transition time? So you've known this was going to be going on for a while, I think, with me and some of the activities with the church. So I invite you to just pay attention as we go through this time and make sure we're growing through it, not just going through it. So here's some thoughts around what is transitional ministry about. In some ways you might say, well, I've heard this stuff before. It's true. You've not heard it in the context of which we reside right now. The context is, everything's up on the planet. It's a call for love. Beyond steroids, it's quantum theory. It's beyond what we even know. So some ideas of what we consciously did as we created transitional processes, we meaning Unity Worldwide Ministries, of which Unity Church of Albany is a member, and we wanted to find ways to support churches. And what we've come up with is some 5 points that we focus on. A lot of the programs we do, and a purpose for my being here, is to support all of you in awareness. For example, the first one is heritage. To explore and appreciate your journey. We're going to be diving deeply in some of our processes. One of them is going to come up in late June. You'll hear more about that at 12:30 in our town hall meeting, and invite you to join us if you can. Explore and appreciate the journey that you individually are on, and then the journey that Unity Church in Albany has been on for decades, for over 30 years. And then where are we going right now? What's our heritage? And then to deepen your sense of mission, deepen your sense of purpose and commitment to making a difference in the world. One of the things that's been a ground wave of shifting in the last several years in Unity churches everywhere is that we realize that we have been acting as if we're small. We are, in terms of numbers, a small denomination. We have only about 900 Unity churches. Our message, though, is transformational. Our message has been influenced and has been influencing other spiritual thinking and spiritual thoughts and other denominations have even adopted a lot of what Unity's teachings are. So, is there a possibility that we have a call to step up and onto the world stage, like other Unity churches are, like the whole Unity movement has declared that's what we're doing? That we are here, we have a vision, we see it's through Christ's lens, that we are part of a world that is awakening, spiritually awakening, and that we have a role in it. And as it's not called the World Wide Web for any coincidence. And these days, can you imagine what it's like now if we feel connected and at one with each other? It's very simple. At a click of a finger or a point of the mouse, we can be connected with anybody on the planet. We don't know if there's any live streamers from out of this country. There probably are, and we send you love and blessings wherever you are and wherever we are. So we are here to make a difference on the planet, and the difference in Unity Church in Albany, and that's what we want to do. And so, in some ways, Connection says the same thing, but discovering deeper relationships beyond the walls of this church. How about this community? We're in a very diverse community, this ministry is, very diverse community. Are there not ways that we could inquire within ourselves as a congregation, what is ours to do in Albany? Beyond what we're already doing, what you're doing right now, there's so much that's happening here. It's been beautiful. It's awesome. And what is coming next? And as we come together, heart to heart and wholeheartedness, we have some ideas. And in terms of your leadership would include, obviously, your board of trustees and your minister, the past ministers, next minister, and then also those of you that have had leadership positions in the past here, and those of you that are on the staff, and those of you that step up and do things. We want to, during this time, focus on exploring the needs that members have and people that attend here have in light of the mission, and to organize and develop effective leadership to fulfill the mission. And also, it's not said right here, but we do look at vision, mission, and core values. The next one is the future. Again, your leadership has decided we're going to take this time for reset. And we're not going to jump right in to begin the minister search process. We've not even formed a minister search team upon our suggestions that we have churches that are really wanting to not take this time. They have all kinds of reasons not to. And we also know from our history throughout the Unity movement, when we don't take time for the ministry to slow down and to inquire within, okay, all right, so we don't have the previous minister. And he or she left for all kinds of reasons, perhaps, and sometimes the minister before that did, and so on. And quite often, it's time for us to say, we're going to take another look. And now, you've heard me say this before, I believe, that if I'm in a long-term relationship for several years with someone either at work or especially as a partner, a life partner, or we were married or whatever, and suddenly there was a loss, either we just decided to break up in an amicable way, or whether there's pain and drama and whatever, most of us would say it's not wise for me to go out and start dating like right away, and let alone decide to live with and or marry or whatever that person. We need time to come to grips with who we are and what's happening, and time to be open to new possibilities. So this last one on future, to revision and develop a future-oriented expression of this church. What are the core values and the mission? You have done a lot of that already. And during this time span, we will be taking a look at that. And for those of you that maybe not remembering some things that we've done this year or a few years ago, you have a chance to get re-energized and to realigned with what is. And the next slide is overall transition statement. This is what we're doing as we move into this. Our intention, and I want to say that I think your leadership, and I'm inviting all of you here to embrace this overall intention that comes from Unity Worldwide Ministries. Because Unity Worldwide Ministries has found out over the decades that churches were always asking the question, there must be a better way to go through change and changing leadership. And so over the decades, this is what, at the request of member churches like this one, to develop some processes that are based on programs that help support change. So our intention is to honor the sacredness of transitions in ministerial leadership by providing specialized programs that support healthy spiritual community through transitional periods of ministry. And then you see the skills and tools that contribute to transformative integration of the past with future possibilities have been developed as we have researched best practices everywhere in psychology and group work in other denominations and within the Unity movement itself. So you might ask, okay, so more on me. What are you asking me to do? Now, this isn't a time where members, people that call Unity Church in Albany your home. If this is your spiritual home, this message about what I'm looking at right now and what you see on the screen right now is for you. It's not just for the leadership. Now, you've heard that before, that everyone that calls Unity Church of Albany is welcome here. And those that feel called to become a formal member, welcome, you can be a member. You do not need to be a member here to be welcomed and to be blessed and to have us see you as a sacred being. So what is ours to do? We're asking everyone to consider that you might have a role, and in fact, I would say you do have a role in creating and co-creating the future of this ministry, and also in looking at the past and having a role in creating some new ways of looking at the past. What are the gifts out of the past, and what are some things that we're still looking at or we still need to work on? So in the midst of all this, if you find yourself resisting the unknown and resisting these programs that some people say, well, it sounds too corporate, and Steve didn't used to work for a corporation, and so therefore, well, yes and yes. Therefore, what I want to say is it's my intention to always apply and demonstrate unity principles in the midst of anything that I do in my life. And whether it's being here in this ministry or other unity ministries I've been, that's the intention. And so I'm also inviting you to embrace this with me. Will you apply and demonstrate unity principles in the midst of this change? And how about not just for this church? Because have you ever noticed that when change happens, that quite often our initial response at some point is, well, they're not doing this right. And that is true everywhere. I mean, it's big right now around the corona stuff, and I get it. And I will say this, you've heard this before. Your parents did the best they could do with what they had at the time in raising you, for example. How's that one? Or our leaders are doing the best they can do with the skills that they have, with the willingness they have, and will we be willing to back off and get back to center be still and know. Is that possible? And the second heart that is yours to do, discover and heal any lingering difficulties from your past. Now, sometimes you don't like the word lingering. I mean, what do we mean by that? Lingering. Linger? I don't like that word. Does that mean that it's just another way of my saying I'm denying that it's there, I don't want to pay attention to it, it's just been there, I got so used to it, it's no big deal. My life is wonderful, thank you very much. Thank you for caring. Well, how about in a community? How about in a family, in a work setting? How about on the planet? And let alone, how about politics in this country? You may believe you already have discovered and you've done whatever you can to heal whatever is lingering from your past. And if that's the case, fantastic. I support you in that. But what about other people's perceptions? And as we together take a look at what's going on here, and whether we call it lingering or whether it's brand new to us, if 3 or 4 other people in a small group that I'm in during one of these processes says that this has happened in the past and it was painful for me and I was there, I wasn't there, do I say it doesn't happen? Does it matter? No. Where we consciously dive into and live the ongoing spiritual journey together. We are here making a difference on this planet. It is not only about leadership. And I tell you, I don't know about you, but sometimes it's sort of, if I'm not careful, and Peggy, everybody here that's been in the sanctuary, talking and playing music to only a handful of loving folks, it's like we've got to remember. We've got to remember, and this little device there is connecting us with. And so, where we realize that we're together. And the only reason this organization called Unity Church in Albany exists is that we are made a decision that there's something important about all of us, about me, being together with everyone else on this journey. We're on this journey together. And then we broaden that concept with the concept of oneness, that we never walk alone. Gee, there was a song written to that. That was one of my favorite songs. I began to learn how to play the piano. I used to pound the heck out of the piano, just playing it because I needed that message. Deepening relationships with one another. You probably, I know I've been on the Zoom calls with so many of you, and it feels like, at one level, it feels like I really know you all that I've seen on Zoom anyway, and being some of these, the heart-to-hearts and some of the classes and all that stuff. And it's really wonderful. But we are deepening our relationship, and what we know we're doing that during this Corona time. And there is no end to deepening our relationships. Now, does that mean that the relationship that I had with you or with someone else over here, or you should sit back there, is going to be the same or is the same once we get back to normal? I'd say not. People are changing consistently, and these days change is very, very deep for all of us. And so life is all about relationships, I've come to believe. And when I forget that, that's when I have another blessed growth opportunity, ABGO, another blessed growth opportunity. And sometimes I use another word other than blessed when I'm not on my card, So, and then last but certainly not least, we're going to be preparing to embrace a new leader to support Unity Church in Albany in fulfilling its mission. This afternoon in the town hall meeting, we'll talk a little bit more details around what's that about and maybe some tentative time frames. But I can say this right now, is that this work you're doing is changing all of you, and you all already have been changed by what's going on in life. And as you have come together in alignment around who are we know why we are here, we embrace who we are, we live who we are, we have come together, and we are putting this out into the world. And yes, we are ready to start searching for the minister. In fact, we know that he or she is already on the way. And they are already on the way, and perhaps they don't even know it. At one level, they do. And so that process will begin sometime in a few months. Don't you know? It's maddening. You want to know exact date, huh? We don't have it yet. It's evolving. It's evolving. And we'll have it for you. So, this last slide. This day is a witness to my sacred purpose. This day is a witness to my sacred purpose. Can it be that this journey is a witness to my sacred purpose? You know, when I was writing this final slide, I added this morning. I love that image. Very spiritually inviting, isn't it? I was flashing on when I first found out. I was at Unity School seminary to become a minister. I found out you could go to the archives and find the daily word on the day that you were born. And I did. And you heard me share that in meditation. I have faith in God as the one and only power in my life. I have faith in God as the one and only power in my life. And it took a while for me to really get it and to really embrace it. And many times as I was doing long runs, I would get what it means, the one and only power. There is no other power but God, but higher power. So if you want to find out the daily word that was written the day you were born and find out, perhaps, does it resonate with you? Well, if that's the case, you might choose again. But anyway, you can go to online at dailyword.com, and there's a way you can search online for the word on your birthday. So whatever day it is, will you make it a witness to your sacred purpose? And join your leadership and join all of us as we come together in the sacred time of change and sacred time of transition. So, God bless you.
We are the
We are a blessing to the world indeed. And as we move now into a time of giving and receiving our one in truth, we realize that if we are giving to a source of our spiritual food, which could be Unity Church in Albany, perhaps one of many sources for you, we do so because we recognize that God is our source. And so it's possible to give in unlimited ways and to realize that it's not the amount that we give, it's the consciousness in which and through which that we give to a source of spiritual food. And so we affirm with each other our offering statement. Together? Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, and so it is. Amen. Hope lingers on.
My mother, when love is gone, my mother, when love is gone, in our darkest hour hope lingers on. My father, when peace is gone, my father, when peace is gone, in our darkest hour hope lingers on. I will not hate, and I will not fear, in our darkest hour hope lingers here. My sister, when equality's gone, when equality's gone, in our darkest hour hope lingers on. My brother, when tolerance is gone, with tolerance gone, in our darkest hour hope lingers on. I will not hate, and I will not fear, in our darkest hour hope lingers here. My love, when honor is gone, when honor is gone, in our darkest hour hope lingers on. My country, when justice is gone, when justice is gone, in our darkest hour hope lingers on. I will not hate, and I will not fear, in our darkest hour hope lingers here. I will not hate, and I will not fear, in our darkest hour hope lingers here.
Oh, that is awesome.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, beautiful. In our darkest hours, hope lingers here. Hope lingers on. Sometimes we believe that it's the other kinds of feelings that linger on, but hope lingers on. And as we have expressed through our giving to a source of spiritual food, that we believe that hope lingers on. Hate is not welcome here. Hope lingers on. We accept these gifts given with love and expectancy, with a belief that there is possibility, there is hope, there is power, there is love to transform lives. And so we step out in faith, knowing in advance that all is well, and we say thank you. Thank you, sweet Spirit. Oh, that's awesome. Health, wholeness, and happiness. At this time in our service, what we've been doing with Unity Church in Albany, we have been affirming that we are here to make a difference through youth of the world. Those of us that have children, those of us that may have children that are not yet here in Unity Church in Albany, and maybe perhaps are on the way, but children everywhere on our path. Health, wholeness, and happiness. We have this blessing that we're going to say, even though we don't see in physical form any children right here on the stage, we hold that vision in our hearts and minds as we say to people that are in our heart. And by the way, I want to pause a moment. We need to have some photos of some young children. If you would email them give us permission to put those children on our big board here, we'd love that. And anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to hold our heart in our hearts and minds, seeing children of the world, children in our lives, neighbors, and in our families, and also at Unity Church in Albany. And we will say this blessing first. We'll say that to them, and they're listening to us, and then they will say it back to us. And in what appears to be silence, we will be listening to them affirming the truth. So here we go, together. God loves you and accepts you just the way you are, and I love you and accept you just the way you are. I behold the Christ you are. It's your turn, children. Let me say amen to that. We take our children with us. And as we close with a wonderful song, I will say what is a goodbye. Say it's a benediction. Say it's a aloha. Aloha means coming and going with love. We thank you for being a part of us, Unity Church in Albany. You are essential to who we are in this sacred time. And so if you believe that's the case, well, give yourself a hug from all of us. Now let's hear some more music.
I think we do our prayer for protection first.
Yes.
If that's what's up next on the slide.
It is. Thank you. See, I thought I knew what I was doing today. That's dangerous when I think I know what I'm doing. For our prayer for protection, together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever I am, God is.
Yes, and we're just reminded that we move to our summer schedule next Sunday with a 10 a.m. service.
Thank you.
Until Labor Day weekend, inclusive. So yes, summer is here, and our service will begin at 10 minutes to 10 with a time to gather next Sunday. Keep that in mind. We'll look at our newsletters too. We're reminding you that way and reminding ourselves as well.
Yeah, I want you to know how this is the team approach. All of a sudden, Terry was walking up. Hey, come on. Okay, give me the sheet. Give me the. None of us had remembered to do the 10 a.m. So Terry walks up, holding this, so we could make sure that you knew 10 a.m. So thank you, Terry, for everyone doing that. What? Oh, it's someone's birthday.
What?
Whose birthday?
There was some comments.
Oh, well,
You have a birthday? Yeah. Oh, let's sing it. Happy birthday. Thank you. I didn't read it. I just saw the first one.
Okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gerri. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you were born this time around. Thank you.
We kind of have the habit now of having an extra song at the end. So this week is a song called Wo Ya Ya. Has a bit of an African feel to it.
Before we do that, can we remind about the town hall meeting?
Town hall meeting at
12:30.
12:30 on Zoom. Look for your Zoom links.
Yes.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
know we win. We will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going. We know we will. We will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going. We know we will. We will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going. We know we will. We will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Why, yeah, yeah.